So I created a new stream. Uh, okay, so it looks like the voice is okay. So let's just continue. Yeah. So there was one question: what happens if night clear? Okay, so one person says you can't hear me. Uh, let's see. The mic and all looks fine. Can you hear me now? Okay, so it looks like the audio is fine right now. I think we should continue. There was one question: what happens if knight to d3? Okay, so at the very least, white has this move here, knight to e4, and of course, coming back, you just lose the pawn. And now if you take, I just take this. I'm pasting the new link in the chat. Just a second. Let me just. Yeah. So knight d3 doesn't work because black has at least knight e4 check. And either you keep on repeating or I take the d2 pawn and then it's just winning for white. Okay. So what are we looking at? Yeah. King c1. So the correct move as suggested here was knight to d6. Knight to d6, it just does a lot of things. First, it just completely cuts the knight out from b5. So it's impossible for white's knight to come to b5 right now because of knight on d6. And also, one more very important thing is black wants to come via c4. Yeah. So knight d6, even though it looks strange going backwards, is a very strong move. Yeah. So if knight c6, black just wins like this. Yeah. Sorry. Just a second. Yeah. So with knight c6, you just go king to c3, and there's no way for white to do anything right now. There's no way he can control any of these squares because you always have d2 check, and then just you win with the knight. So it's not good for black, for white. I mean, sorry. So he goes king d2 here. Now you just enter via c4 and d2. Okay, now let's just look at the critical moment of the game. So now white's threat is just he wants to come king e2, and queen the pawn on d1. So white tries to prevent this like this. Notation. Yeah. So white's only chance is to come to c3 via b5. So what is Black's move here. Yeah, so we have the correct answer already. Knight to a3. This just deflects the knight because it forces the knight to just capture the knight. Okay, so let's just look at the other options. One sec. So what were the other suggestions? Knight to b2 was one suggestion. Okay, knight to b2, you always have this move knight to c3. And now the king can no longer come to e2, and you can't queen with the pawn either. Okay, so what were the other suggestions? Knight to a2 was one more suggestion. I think you meant knight to a3. Yeah. So knight to a3 just immediately deflects the knight from the b5 square, since it just double attacks the king and the knight. So the knight has to take. Now you just try to stop that. So black is going to queen by force. Okay. So this is a very interesting position, and let's just have a look at the position once. Obviously, white is clearly better because his king is much more active, his pawn structure is much stronger, and his knight is much more active than the knight on e8. But the important question is how does he make progress here? Of knight b6. Let's just look at knight b6 first. Knight b6, even though it looks like it achieves a lot, it doesn't really do anything for white because black is just going to keep on shuffling. If, for example, this now knight c8, he just can still just go back here. And you're not really making any progress. The way which white found was very smart here. White just went for this move knight to f8. Now this is a really strong move for white because it just forces the king out of the square on f7 and allows the white king to infiltrate via e6. Okay. Now if knight takes a white just enters via e6, and now his idea is extremely simple. He just wants to take every pawn. So he'll just take these pawns, or he'll take this pawn, allow depending on what white does. So let's say if he moves the knight, then these pawns will just start falling. He can take every pawn. Eventually, he'll just win all the pawns. Or if he doesn't do this and he goes for something like, for example, if he goes for something like king g8, then you just have this move, and all the pawns are going to fall one by one. So this is white's idea. That is why for king e6, black decides to just go for this move, knight to g7 check. Now you need to take the knight because otherwise the knight enters the game. So white takes, king takes, and white just starts taking the pawns. So black's only source of counterplay in this position is to push his h pawn and hope that he queens before white does. So let's just calculate. h5, white moves out of the way to e7, the most active square for the king, h4, d6, h3, b7, h2, and white queen first. Black has to queen. And now, it's a very easy win for white. Because he's just going to push the e pawn. And also, the king is in a really bad position. And the queen can always be well defended by blocking with the white queen. And the pawn also provides shelter to the king. So I just resigned in this position. It's a really easy win for white. Okay. So let's have a look at this. Okay, even this is not that complicated. So this is white to play and win. So how does white win here? Okay, so we have knight f6 and knight e7. Okay, so the most obvious move in this position is, of course, knight to f6. The idea is very simple. You just want to play g6 and queen the pawn. You just want to play g7 and queen the pawn on g8. But the problem is here, black is in time to stop it. The knight on e7 and the pawn is forever stopped. There's no way for white to queen this pawn because black is always just going to take the queen with the knight, and there's simply no way black can lose this position with these many pawns. Also, you have to remember that black himself has two pawns on b5 and a4. Yeah. So the correct way for white to make progress in this position is knight to e7. Yeah. So obviously black only has one move here, knight to d7. Now his idea is that once you play g4, g7, he wants to come to f6 and stop the pawn. Okay. So what does white do here? What is white's idea? Okay, so what's the idea? Knight c6 and I go king a6. Yeah. Pushing the pawn would not be that great because, again, black just has knight f6 and he stops the pawn from queening. So obviously queening here would not be great because you can never win that. Black himself has two pawns here. So this is not enough for white to win. Okay. So the other yeah, so in this position, white just has knight b8. Yeah. So in this position, white just has knight b8 and is deflecting the knight from the defense of the g8 square. So black is forced to take, and then you just queen the pawn. There's no way black can stop. Okay. So obviously, because of knight b8, king to a6 is a bad idea for black. So he goes king to b6. So now knight b8 doesn't work. Now what does white do?